And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Yep, and hell is coming. Because November is always the season to remember in college football as this season starts to wind down. And as I like to always say, it goes by like a blink of the eye. And coming to a conclusion this season, have a few other things I want to talk about as well. The Jake Paul Tyson fight, which was a complete and utter ripoff to me. It was supposed to be an exhibition. They should have said it was an exhibition, and some things come out in some of the post game press conferences that it sort of makes you think, maybe something ain't quite right about this whole thing, especially getting people to bet on it, right? But we'll talk about that in a minute. I want to go ahead and give a few thanks out to a few people that have helped me with this channel and helped me throughout the year. Steve and Darlene Pareto offered me 2 tickets this week to come up and watch Alabama play Oklahoma. So I may actually be at the game. If y'all want to holler at me in Norman, if some of y'all are in Norman, Oklahoma for the Alabama game, I may actually be there. I don't know yet. That's still TBA. I got to see if I can't find a hotel that's feasible. And also it's a 10-hour drive. So the wife may not want to drive 10 hours for a football game. I don't know yet, but I'm going to talk to her about it tomorrow. Also, Courtney Taylor give me a few little tidbits this week. She's always giving me nice little tidbits for the show because the Common Joe and the Common Sally put me in the know. And Ryan Loads, a.k.a. Thunder OU Sooner, also sent me a clip today that I'm going to use in the show. It's about a guy from Orange Bloods, Texas guy, surprise, surprise, that claims that the Oklahoma brand is indeed dead. Dead, gone. Oklahoma's over, according to a Texas Longhorn fan from Orange Bloods. But I'm an unbiased guy, I promise. Yeah. All right there, old Kojak. He looks like an overweight, obese version of Kojak. Now, y'all have noticed I haven't been on for a little bit. I've had a few health issues myself, and coming out of that a little bit now, so everything seems like it's turning around a little bit health-wise for me. But looks like we already got a few people up in here. Rye Guy 1218's in the house, says, I'm just thankful the Ducks get a week to rest. Yeah, y'all got y'all's bye week a little late, huh? Rye Guy also says the only positive from the fight was the lady with rather large ham hockers. I didn't see that part. I only watched the main event. I went out and done some Uber driving on the side to supplement my income, and missed the ladies' fight or whatever, if that's what you're talking about. Nakia Webb is also in the house. It's been a hard time being an OU fan. I live in Florida, but we'll be going to the LSU game. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, when people thought I was just trying to make Oklahoma people feel better about LSU and Alabama coming up on their schedule. While Oklahoma may not beat Alabama, don't say never about anything in college football. I promise you. I mean, Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame for their only loss this year in Notre Dame. So anything can happen. But a more feasible route to get bowl eligible for Oklahoma will to beat LSU. I told people 2 weeks back before Alabama ever played LSU, the LSU is a complete farce. I love LSU people. LSU people are some of the best fans to me. A lot of people don't like them, but they know how to party. But the problem I have with LSU is Brian Kelly. He's the farce that LSU needs to get rid of. If LSU can just get a coach in there with a slightly better moral compass, LSU could probably be a dynasty of some sort. Max Todd is also in the house. What's up, Outlaw? What's up, Max Todd? Glad to have you here, brother. Ain't seen you in a while. Ride Guy 1218, once again, the Sooners aren't dead. Yeah, they are backsliding, but they'll be back, and they're not like USC where there's a real chance they won't win a championship for a very long time. Yeah, speaking of which, old Lincoln Riley may have screwed the pooch. He may have give USC an out. That'll be talked about here in just a second as well. Nakia Webb says, if we don't beat LSU, I won't be disappointed. My disappointment will not be topped with our season so far, but Sooner born and Sooner bred. I'll be rooting for y'all, brother. Not this week, but I will be rooting for y'all next week, definitely, to make a bowl, because it'll probably be a bowl that's actually affordable. Maybe you go back to the bowl in Orlando, and maybe Ona Cano can finally show that he's a real Oklahoma fan and attend an Oklahoma game. Just taking a shot at you on the canoe. Just playing, brother. But got a birthday today, and that was brought to my attention by Courtney Taylor. So we got to sing somebody a happy birthday song. Y'all ready? Oh, Mary Caleb Williams, fingernails. Today's his birthday. Y'all got to sing him happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mary Caleb Williams, fingernails. Happy birthday to you. You're still a queer. You get humped in the ear. In Wrigleyville, in Chicago, because you is a male hoe. Happy birthday, Mary Caleb Williams, fingernails. I'm going to get in trouble. Watch. They're going to get mad because I use the word queer. But they use the word queer all the time. So why can't I say it? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? As the great Killer Breeze once said, the Oklahoma Roughneck is in the house. What's up, posse? What's up, Roughneck? Roughnecks had it rough. It's LSU Tigers, home he graduated from, and his Oklahoma Sooners who he attended as a Roughneck have both been having a rather disastrous end of their season. But just think of it this way, Killer. Oklahoma plays LSU in 2 weeks. You will end with somebody winning. There's your silver lining, brother. There's your silver lining. Y'all like my birthday song for Mary Caleb Williams, fingernails? I think I liked it a lot. Yeah, a lot. All right, Trump is back, and we still have the First Amendment, said Nakia Webb. Well, you damn straight you do. Yeah, it's been one of those years, Killer Breeze. All right. I'm going to bring up the video real quick that I want y'all to hear. This is a guy that's claiming to be Nostradamus. He's giving us the end of the world scenario for your Oklahoma Sooners. We'll share that right now with y'all to see what y'all think about it. All right, there he is. Oh, goofy ass, big peanut head looking. It's not a peanut, that big old watermelon head. Big old white watermelon head looking spastic here from Orange Bloods. Here he goes.
I think we are witnessing the end of Oklahoma as a major national college football brand. Maybe the brand will stick because Nebraska still has the brand, but I think there was always a risk on war with Texas and Oklahoma going into the SEC together. Feels like one of those deals where the room's not big enough for two people, the town's not big enough for two people. It felt like one of those two would come in and immediately sit with the cool kids. I think we are witnessing.
There you go. There you go. Straight from the jackass's mouth. According to Orange Bloods and whatever this goof's name is, y'all probably know his name. He's pretty famous in the Texas-Oklahoma rivalry, the Orange Blood Network, whatever they call it. You know, he'll probably get mad that I played his little clip, but he can't do nothing about it because I got it fixed to where it's something he can't claim. But, yeah. According to him, y'all dead, man. Y'all's brand is dead, man. Y'all come over, man. There wasn't enough room for y'all. Texas come over here, man, and just brought y'all over here, man. If it wasn't for Texas, according to him, y'all wouldn't be surviving, man. Y'all wouldn't be in the SEC. Y'all need to go back to the Big 12, man. There's not enough room for you over here, according to this Texas jackass. It just came out of his mouth. That dude is an imbecile. I watched his little show a time or two just to see what people were talking about because there was some stuff going on a while back between him and Ona Cano, and I actually helped Ona Cano in that situation, although I didn't get any gratitude from Ona Cano. But anyway, regardless, I helped Ona Cano out on that. But he's a big old crybaby, and I don't know if he's trolling or if he actually thinks, and he really thinks that. Because it's just one season, man. Steve Sarkisian went 5-7 too, you know, at Texas. Come on now. If you're trolling, man, you're doing a piss poor job of it. And if you're not trolling, you're doing a piss poor job of knowing your college football history and the fact that while Oklahoma may be down right now because all teams go through that and it goes in cycles, if you're going by history and if you know your college football history, which I doubt you do, outside of the Texas long turds, you'll know that Oklahoma's been winning football games off and on for the better part of 100-plus years, and more likely that will continue to happen. It's just a little down cycle here. As I've talked about ad nauseum, Brent Venables in Oklahoma went through some shit that not many other programs had to go through. So we'll see. We'll see. Next year will be the telltale to me. Right guy said, didn't they shut down the Longhorn Network? Yeah, they did. They did. They did. They shut it down. They had to shut it down, come over to the SEC because, you see, in a conference, in a real conference, which the Big 12 isn't really, you have sharing revenue. And the Big 12 wasn't really sharing revenue. Texas wasn't sharing revenue with them because when you're in a real conference, you have to share revenue and everything, including your TV contracts. But Texas, because they like preferential treatment, got preferential treatment. And I will go as far to say is it looks like they may have gotten preferential treatment this year in the scheduling. The one team they played that was ranked beat them, thumped them by double digits in their own place. You can't even use the excuse, well, it was on the road. No, it was right there in front of God and everybody in Darrell K. Royal Stadium, which, by the way, you named your stadium after an Oklahoma alumnus. So just saying, man, and just I don't know, man. It seems like y'all getting a little ahead of yourself here and sort of, counting the old proverbial chickens before they hatch. The one good team that you played that outside of Georgia, you almost lost to them. You almost lost to Vanderbilt. Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. But as far as your schedule goes, someone did y'all a huge solid. And Greg Sankey, while he's a pretty cool guy most of the time, there's some things that make me question him, man. It makes me think he's a little corrupt. I think he might have took a little bit of a kickback from the Texas people in order to give them this easy-ass schedule they got. And they got Kentucky and Mississippi State. They get Florida when Florida's down. Look, Vanderbilt, before the season, nobody knew Vanderbilt was going to be this good. Their first real SEC road game was in Nashville. Really? Yeah, I know that Vanderbilt's good this year, but we got more times than not. That's a huge solid for whomever you give it to, right? Killer Breeze says that guy is such a douche. Yes, he is a douche. I've had my run in with him. He, like I said, he tried to get Ona Cano, one of your Oklahoma people. He tried to get them for copyright infringement. He tried to get his channel in trouble. So I promptly went in and clipped up his shit in a proper way to show him how to get away with it. And then I promptly did it. And he messaged me and threatened me a little bit, but I needed to have a leg to stand on, so I just kept doing it. I just kept doing it. I'm doing it right now. Y'all can send it to him. Ask him what's he going to do about it. He can come on this show if he wants to. I have an open forum. I have an open door for anybody just about. Not everybody, but just about everybody. Max Todd said that guy took flute lessons as a kid, never played football or sport growing up. Flute lessons, huh? Yeah. It looked like he might have played the skin flute a time or two, and not his own skin flute, if you know what I mean. He probably orally played the skin flute quite a few times. You're right about that, Max Todd. That's a good one, Max. Thanks for setting me up for that. Max just threw that up shit up there like an alley-oop, man. If you're not my age, you won't know this, but it's like Five Slamma Jamma with Kareem Mad. Was it not Kareem? It was Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler when they used to play for the Houston Rockets back in the college days. Five Slamma Jamma, boy. You just threw it up there and I slammed it home. All right, what are we going to do next here? Oh, yeah, by the way, I didn't do this like I was supposed to, but just so y'all know, we did sing a birthday song earlier to Mary Caleb Williams' fingernails, and to give him the proper comeuppance here in his birthday attire and what he probably wore at his birthday celebration is probably this right here. There it is. Oh, birthday boy. Oh, birthday boy. I bet he's getting lathered up in Wrigleyville in Chicago right now by some rope sucker. I got a friend that lives in Chicago, so if y'all know anything about Wrigleyville, it's a place where rope suckers like to hang out. So I'm sure that he's rope sucking down there at Wrigleyville. Now I won't pick on Mary Kay Williams anymore, at least until someone brings something to my attention, like Courtney did. Once again, Courtney put me in the know. I didn't know it was Fingernail's birthday, so wanted to give him a little birthday wish there, and I gave him a song earlier. It wasn't so nice at the end, but I can't help it sometimes. I do have Tourette's, and it just comes out. Yep, he's got a pink phone, and he's doing his little hair like this right here. Got his little fingernails. Thunder OU centers in the house. Caleb Williams looks like that when he's laying down after he gets sacked in the NFL. Right about that, brother. I'll see if I can get a few more people up here. If y'all don't mind, jump out, smash the like button. It'll get more people in the party. You can also join the Outlaw Posse for $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. You'll see people in here with a badge like Killer Breeze and others. Go ahead and see if we can't get some people up in here for y'all. All right. Set the bat signal out for a few people. Killer Breeze says, never trust a man that can't put the ding-dongs down long enough to keep himself from looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. Marshmallow. Is he any related to that other Marshmallow guy that we know? Are they related? I don't know. They don't look alike. But they do sort of look like they do sort of look like some Ned Beatty types, you know what I'm saying? The Deliverance kind of guys that probably get taken out there in the middle of the woods in Arkansas kind of deal. Right guy says, I thought that north of what? North of what? That's which is too long, which is close. Oh, I can't pronounce whatever you said the first one. Wrigleyville, yeah. Yeah, that's from what I heard, I don't know. I ain't never been down there. So a friend of mine in Chicago, I was coming up visit for him. He said, man, we can go hang out and do whatever you want to do, but we're not going to Wrigleyville. I'm like, why is that? He's like, first of all, if you're wearing that black cowboy hat down in Wrigleyville, you're going to get Brokeback Mountain. So I knew right then. I'm like, oh, okay. You ain't got to say anymore, brother. I exactly know what you're talking about, Wrigleyville. We can code this shit out where we can actually, not be politically correct and not get in trouble in here. Just got to know how to nickname yourself and nickname certain things that you don't like. As a Green Bay Packers fan, loved the win against Chicago Bears yesterday. I didn't know that Green Bay had beaten them. I don't really pay attention to the NFL like I should anymore, although I am a Saints fan. By the way, that hat next to it is not a Denver Broncos fan. A lot of people think it is. That's a Bull Durham hat from the set of Bull Durham. I go around and I look up little interesting curios and stuff from movie sets and stuff, and I bought that on the internet. That's Bull Durham Bulls from the movie Bull Durham. Posse, I'm driving home from work, but big shout out to y'all, says 1989M, our resident Michigan Wolverine, who they are now 5-5. So they still got a few more weeks left to be your national champions, but they are still your and my national champions. Regardless of what y'all said about the cheating. They stopped cheating before the year began, by the way. They did cheat the 2 years ago. But the stuff they got in trouble for, I think they quit doing it the year they won the national championship. But by that time, a lot of people say it was too late. They already had the drop on Ohio Stank, and that this national championship should have an asterisk by it. I don't really agree with that. But they did cheat a little bit. and they get put on probation for it. So, yeah. Who you got tonight, the Cowboys or the Texans? So I don't know a lot, like I said, about the NFL per se. I watch it occasionally, but I hope the Texans win. I know we got a lot of Cowboy fans in here, but I've never really been a big Dallas Cowboys guy, especially since, Jimmy Jones took over the team bukus of years ago. I'm not a big Jimmy Jones fan. I'm not really against the Dallas Cowboys. I just don't like Jimmy Jones. Oh, please. Ohio Stank has been cheating for many years, says Guy 1218. Yeah, you are right about that. Ohio Stank has been cheating for quite some time. Nobody's forgot about Tattoo Gate. Maurice Clarett was getting paid big time. Only difference now is it's actually legal. The problem with Michigan is they're not paying players in an illegal way. I think it was because they were, stealing people's signs at other games. So it was a different kind of cheating. And so that's what they're saying, that now all that stuff that was illegal is no longer illegal. Some of it anyway. Some of it's still illegal. You still can't just blatantly come out and pay them from the university. You have to have an NIL in between. University of Alabama goes to Tuscaloosa Toyota and says, wink, wink, if you'll give so-and-so an NIL deal, we'll give you this later on. That kind of deal. All of them do it. All of them do it. Just like Guy said, they all do it. Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, LSU, Florida State, Florida Gators, Slippery Rock University, Vanderbilt, they all do it. All right, I'm going to bring up this Jake Paul clip for y'all, and y'all tell me, is Jake Paul and Mike Tyson maybe guilty of fixing a fight? Which I think is a criminal matter, right? You can be prosecuted for fixing games and fixing fights, right? And from what Jake Paul says in this press conference, it absolutely sounds like he backed off and the fight was fixed. It was scripted. Matter of fact, a lot of people out there, Black and White Sports is one of them. It's a good channel. Watch it sometimes. It's a pretty good channel. Black and White Sports said that there's a script floating around out there that got leaked where they were supposed to be going by a certain script in that fight. My problem with it is I don't have a problem with it being scripted, but I'll get to that in just a second. All right. Can y'all see that? All right. Here we go.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson put on just a marketing show for us.
While watching it, I felt disgusted at Jake Paul for putting this together, knowing that Tyson was 58 years old.
And you're also talking about two generations here, right? So you have the Jake Paul generation, you have the Mike Tyson generation, Gen X versus really Gen Z, if you want to throw some millennials in there as well, coming together for one thing. And honestly, outside of major sporting events, like you mentioned, like the Super Bowl and things like that, we really don't get that type of programming for both generations that would come together.
Jake Paul just got suspended from boxing amid his fight with Mike Tyson controversy. Jake Paul recently cruised to his 11th professional victory, securing a unanimous decision over the legendary heavyweight champion. In a bout that had all the makings of a blockbuster spectacle, Tyson, despite showing glimpses of his old self in a furious opening round, began to tire as the fight progressed. Jake, leveraging his youth and stamina, capitalized on the opportunity to dominate the later rounds and ultimately take the win. The fight, held at the iconic AT&T Stadium in Texas, was a historic event. Drawing an unprecedented crowd, it became the highest-grossing combat sports gate in Texas history, with fans flocking to witness the clash of two wildly different eras. For Tyson, this marked his first professionally sanctioned fight since his infamous loss to Kevin McBride in 2005. At 58, he wanted to prove he still had the fire to step into the ring. But Jake Paul, 31 years his junior, proved that age and perhaps strategy was on his side. However, the aftermath of the fight was far from celebratory.
I tried to give the fight the best fight I possibly.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers?
Low against an aging icon. This
skipped it up, didn't I? There it is. This is the part right here that I have a question about right here.
I was just like, okay, he's not really engaging back.
Back up just a little bit for y'all, so y'all get the full context of this.
I tried to give the fight the best fight I possibly could, but when someone's just surviving in the ring, basically, it's hard to make it exciting. So I couldn't really get him to engage me or slip shots and do something super cool or whatever. But I don't care about what people have to say. They're always going to have something to say, and that it is what it is. There was a point where, I was just like, okay, he's not really engaging back. And so I don't know if he's tired or whatever. And I could just tell, his age was showing a little bit, and I just have so much respect for him. And that like violence war thing between us, like after he slapped me, I wanted to, be aggressive and take him down and knock him out and all that stuff. But that kind of went away as the rounds went on.
Jake Paul.
So there you have it. What's y'all's take from that? It sounds to me like he's saying he backed off. Sounds to me like he's saying, I felt sorry for him. Well, I have too much respect for him, knock him out. That's not the way a boxing fight is supposed to go, unless it's an expedition, which I don't have a problem with that, but call it an expedition. They called it an expedition at the start of it. Then they changed it to a real fight. Here lying the problem here. People are going to make bets on a real fight. I made a bet. I went through Bovado.com, I think it is. Good betting site. Check them out, Bovado. And I just placed a simple $25 bet on Mike Tyson just for the hell of it. All right, I didn't put a ton of money on it, but I put $25 on Mike Tyson to win because I thought it was a real fight. I did know when Mike Tyson came out that he was going to have a knee brace on. That's number one. Number one, that should have been divulged to the bettors out there. The bettors should have had the right to know that Mike Tyson's legs were not going to be up to par in that fight because he had a brace on his leg. That should be something I think should be shared. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't watch a ton of boxing. Maybe that's something they do to the betting people all the time. But I know in football, they usually disclose injuries to the bettors. And they didn't disclose that. To me, that's criminal. To me, that's them getting people to bet on fights so they can take your money. And you're telling everybody it's a real fight, and it's not a real fight. You're just dancing around the ring, taking a few jabs here and there because you just said yourself, whether it's true or not, you just said, Jake, that you felt sorry for him, that you backed off because he wasn't really fighting back, that he wasn't engaging. Well, it's not your job to get him to engage. It's his job to engage. It's your job to knock him out or beat him. And you didn't do that, which means that you let up and you cost people money. Even the people that betted on Jake lost money because some of them betted by rounds. They might have betted that Jake was going to knock him out in the first 3 rounds or Jake was going to knock him out in the 5th round. All that money got lost because Jake basically threw the fight. Basically, him and Mike Tyson together threw the fight. And at the end of the fight, you got Jake doing this shit right here, and there's still 10 seconds left in the fight. Mike Tyson just sitting here doing this. Not even trying to punch the dude. Dude's face is wide open to be punched in the last 10 seconds of that match. Go back and watch it if you don't believe me. And Mike Tyson didn't take a punch, which makes me think the whole damn thing was scripted, and it's just like you bet on WrestleMania. At least with wrestling, it's scripted. They tell you ahead of time, hey, if you place a bet on this shit, just know it's scripted. But they didn't do that, man. They ripped off the betting public. Them in Vegas should have to answer for this shit. A lot of people lost money because they portrayed an expedition as a real fight, and it wasn't because there's a script floating around out there. I don't have the link to it, but you go to Black and White Sports on YouTube, he'll show you that there's a script out there, and that one script, there's a couple of scripts floating around for that fight that got leaked. But that's my rant on that shit. Let me see what everybody else has got to say. Let's scroll up a little bit. Sigma's in the house. He's got his badge. He's deputized. He said it was a fake fight. Says Sigma. Max Todd. Also says the fight was fixed, the worst boxing match I've ever seen. Yeah, they should have. If he had a knee brace, Max, they should have postponed the fight again. That's just simple, man. If you got a real injury that a doctor says you don't need to fight, then you shouldn't be able to fight, man. And I know him and Jake were friends before the fight. They just put on this little spectacle for the last year or so to pretend like they were getting mad at each other. And we all know it's bullshit, man. It's just like two wrestlers, man. A heel, which is the bad guy, and the babyface. They get in the ring, they hate each other, they beat each other up supposedly, and then after the match, they all leave and they go to the bar and they drink together. That's what this shit was tonight. That's what last night, 2 nights ago, whatever. Rye Guy 1218's in the house as well still. I don't know why I said that again. But anyway, I had a feeling it was scripted because they had a 58-year-old Tyson. Yeah, but I mean, going up to it, and I was the same way at first. I sort of waffled on even putting any money on it. But I got sucked in, man. And by the way, Netflix, you suck too. That whole fight was pixelating. You have to turn it off and go back in and turn it back on to get it to act right. It kept lagging. It kept doing the little circular motion thing when it's lagging. And Netflix did a horrible job of putting that on. Right guy says if Jake Paul was fighting prime Mike Tyson, he would have got the shit beat out of him if he was in the 90s. Exactly. And I thought it was cool. I was starting to warm up to Jake Paul and his brother, but man, some of the stuff they said and did before this fight and after this fight, man, they're a bunch of fakes, man. They're a bunch of fakes. They've already made their money. So they're just laughing at us right now. We got you. You did. You did get us. You did, man. But I hope you invest your money good and you don't have to rely on the public again to watch something for you in order to get your finances back up, Jake Paul, and Logan Paul. Because if you're relying on me, I'm not going to watch no more of your shit, man. You just basically come out and admit in the press conference that you laid off, which is absolutely fixing. That'd be like someone missing a free throw on purpose because they felt sorry for another basketball team. That's exactly what that's like. And for them not to even think nothing about it and act like there's nothing wrong with what happened is horseshit. You know, Dana White got on there defending the fight. Well, y'all should have known better, blah, blah, blah. No, Dana, I like you, brother, but you're wrong about this. We shouldn't have known better. If someone's telling us it's going to be a real fight, then it should be a real fight. And the dude's got a banged up knee and he can't move around the ring, then they should postpone the damn fight again. They already postponed it once. You can postpone it a second time. I've seen it happen in boxing many a time where they had to put a fight off for 2 or 3 years. I don't know. I just can't take Jake Paul as a heavyweight boxer seriously, says Rye Guy 1218. I'm the same way, man. It's hard for me to take him seriously because he doesn't box anybody that's a real boxer. The one guy that he boxed that was a real boxer, Tommy Fury, beat his ass. His one loss was to a real boxer. The rest of them are not really boxers anymore, or they're way past their prime. He's a joke. He preys on the weak. And he gets in there and tries to get the crowd back on his side by saying, this is to all the firefighters and the police officers, man. That's so left field, man. I appreciate you saying that about our firemen and our police officers out there, but it just seems so coach speak from you after the shit you just pulled, putting in that ring. Sigma says there's plenty of videos out there that show Tyson with wide open shots on Jake in the first round. Exactly. Thunder OU Sooner in the house says it took looked like Jake Paul was scared of Tyson hitting him. Yeah, maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he felt sorry for him, like you said, and he fixed the fight. Maybe Mike Tyson had a brace on his leg, which he did, and he couldn't catch him, which made the fight illegitimate from the beginning. Netflix needs to give people 3 months of free Netflix. I agree with that. Outlaw, I'd rather bet on the OTC and the OG Bloodline at War Games, said 1989M. By the way, that's the next wrestling pay-per-view. War Games is coming up. If you follow wrestling, it's the old Bloodline versus the new Bloodline. There's supposed to be a fifth man for each team. There's supposed to be a mystery. There's been a lot of names that's bandied around as a possible for each team. CM Punk's been one that's bandied about for the original Bloodline, and the other one, the new Bloodline, they're saying they might bring The Rock back in, but we'll see. What do you think, 1989M? Who's going to be the mystery fifth guys for both teams? Wouldn't that be considered point shaving, or is that more of a football basketball thing? Exactly. Yeah, it could be boxing's version of point shaving. It'd be just like if you was playing football and you was beating the shit out of Alabama was playing Clemson, and we're in the fourth quarter, or actually, say we're in the late part of the third quarter, and Alabama's up 28-10, and we know we got them. We know they're not really driving the ball on us, or maybe it's a little bit lower scoring than that. Maybe it's 27-3. And we just decided not to play anymore. We're like, oh, we're just going to let Clemson come back a little bit and make it look good. That's called point shaving. If you let Tyson stick around and make the match closer and people are betting round by round, you're screwing people out of money intentionally. War Games was originally in WCW, I think, says Sigma. Yes, it was originally a WCW invention. And when the WWE bought them out, they basically decided to start using that label, because a lot of people make fun of WCW now, but WCW was beating the WWF in ratings for a long time there, for 83 straight weeks. Matter of fact, that's what Eric Bischoff's podcast is called. It's 83 weeks. Not the greatest podcast in the world. I wouldn't suggest watching it. Sometimes he's a jackass, but yeah, there was a lot of good things that come out of WCW. Not enough good things, obviously, because they had to close the doors. All right. Now let's get to something that some of you Oklahoma people are probably liking. Looks like old Linky Boy may be in some hot water at USC. As you know, he got put on probation. We already know about that. But as you can see right here, NCAA sanctions give Southern California ammunition to fire Lincoln Riley and escape their contract and the big buyout of $88 million. This is the only thing I think was keeping him his job this year, was the fact that they were going to have to pay a huge buyout had they fired him. Now, if he violates terms of the contract of some kind of moral turpitude, which NCAA violations may be in that contract as that, he may have provided USC a way out. Just like when Alabama fired Mike Price a while back when he got caught leaving his University of Alabama credit card at the hotel with a bunch of strippers in Pensacola. They ended up having that strip bar in Pensacola ended up having a billboard outside that said the home of the $10 million lap dance, because they cost Mike Price's job at Alabama. But it says the NCAA sheriff handed down some law at Southern California on Wednesday. By the way, Southern California is still the number one team in America for NCAA probation. So there is something that you're number one in. Look it up on NCAA.org. They try to say the SEC is the cheapest teams in America, but in reality, it's not. It's Southern Cal. They've been on probation more times than anybody. Next 3 weeks just got vitally important for Lincoln Riley. In the simplest terms, the NCAA gave USC a get-out-of-jail-free card to fire Riley. This is from USA Today now. This ain't some half-ass newspaper. To escape their mega contract with him. The NCAA placed the school on probation for 1 year and fined it $50,000 on and off-field coaching by a non-coaching analyst on the staff. More potentially damning to Riley, whose team has lost 9 of their last 12 games, Southern California agreed with the NCAA that Riley violated head coaching responsibility rules. This means the school could fire Riley with cause and not have to pay tens of millions in contract commitments. That's right. Fire Riley and not owe him a penny. Damn. This is a gift from the football gods, Southern Cal. Here's your opportunity to get rid of this jackass, this con man that shouldn't even be in football. Maybe he's an offensive coordinator somewhere. But other than that, now I don't even know if he's a good offensive coordinator, really, to be honest with you. Everybody says that he's a great offensive coordinator, but I'm not so sure about that. His offense ain't looked that good this year without Caleb Williams or somebody that was gifted him, like in Oklahoma, where he was gifted Baker Mayfield and Jalen Hurts transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma. He hasn't recruited one quarterback that he's actually done something with. Says, I don't want to get into the semantics of why the head coach responsibility charging isn't as damaging because the rule was given more teeth in 2023. All you need to know is there's now an off-ramp for USC in this growing mess. No more former players ripping Riley in the program on social media. No more long-time Big Ten punching bags stealing USC's conference thunder. No more days of top 5 programs in all of college football middling around and losing to the Minnesotas and Marylands of the world, which they did. They lost to Minnesota and Maryland this year. That's a fireable offense in itself, but I would probably $88 million is a lot. But now, according to the USA Today, they don't have to pay him that buyout. So now if USC doesn't fire Lincoln Riley at this point, even though he won last week against Nebraska, I understand that, they're still 5-5, and they went 7-5 last year. Right? And they won in the bowl game against Louisville, so what? 8-5. Just saying, if USC is smart, they will use this to get out of that contract with him, not have to pay him a single penny. Hell, they may even offer him a few pennies or a few million just so he'll go away quietly. They may say, look, man, we got you. We got you, man. You can make this easy and simple, or we can make this ugly. We'll give you $5 million, $10 million. Go away quietly. But they really don't have to do that now, do they? I just think it's karma, man. But the thing about it is, man, is Lincoln Riley, it's a sad thing because he's fractured 2 blue blood programs and himself and his family's finances with the moves that he's made in his life. If he had stayed at Oklahoma and toughed it out a little bit, Caleb Williams wouldn't have left and went to USC. Oklahoma would have continued probably outscoring people, and they would have been in a lot better position going into the SEC. But he didn't. He left. He fractured the program, and now he's fracturing USC. USC now has a gift from the football gods. So if I'm USC, you might want to think about taking that shit, man. If I was USC, man, I'd be firing his ass at the end of the season for just cause and not paying him a single dime. What do y'all think? The clock is ticking on Riley. He doesn't have a star quarterback talent to hang on their shirt tail. That is true, says Lance Floret. 1989M says, OCF, you would have been proud of me for my trolling Saturday night when those hedge pissers did knock off Tennessee. And that they did. Old Rocky Top took a rocky flop right there in the middle of the hedges, right out there where the hedge pissers were pissing. They took a big old rocky flop. Definitely fire Riley, says Sigma. Yeah, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Lance Floyer with an NFL update. The Houston Texans are up 7-0. 1989M is in the house still. Glad y'all decided to lose. Glad y'all decided who gets to lose to Bama next month in Atlanta, because y'all know that goes, don't you? Speaking of which, the SEC championship game, and any conference championship game for that matter, they need to do away with it. It's just an extra game. And look, if you go into that game with 2 losses and you lose, that's 3 losses. By making it to the SEC championship game, the loser gets punished. even in a 12-team playoff, they might drop you out of the 12-team playoff if you got 3 losses, like Alabama would have if they lost in the SEC title game. Playing in the SEC championship game is not an advantage unless you're just the winner. Whoever loses, not only do they take a loss and risk getting knocked out of the playoffs, but you're banging each other up, and even the winner might come out a little more nicked up than, say, a team that just gets to sit there like, I don't know, Georgia would get to sit there for 3 weeks and heal up. They need to do away with conference title games, man. They're a disadvantage, especially to conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten, where these teams will just nick each other up and soften each other up for the other teams down the road. Sigma says conference championship games are outdated. I agree, brother. I agree wholeheartedly. NIL committee says facts. I guess talking about what's facts. Conference championships need to go away. Now, this is the college football playoff prediction for tomorrow. The playoff poll comes out tomorrow, but here is a take on that before it happens from ESPN. Projections. Right here, can y'all see that? Here's our experts' top 12 college football playoff picks. We'll just do a few of these. I'll do the top 4. Andrea Adelson thinks it's going to be Oregon number 1, Texas number 2, Miami number 3, Colorado number 4. The reason why they got Colorado number 4 is because, in Miami number 3, is because the top 4 seeds have to be conference champions. That needs to change. It should be the top 4 teams, period. The best 4 teams should get the first 4 slots. Bottom line. In the NFL, don't they go by best records, or is it they go by conference champions too? I'm not sure. But anyway, number 5, Indiana. Number 6, Ohio State. I don't know why she got Indiana ahead of Ohio State. I don't think Indiana's going to beat Ohio State this weekend. Penn State, number 8. Alabama, number 9. Ole Miss, number 10. Georgia, number 11. Notre Dame, Notre Dame, number 11. Georgia, number 10. Boise State, number 12. See if this guy's got anything different. Kyle Banagra. Oregon, number 1. Texas, number 2. SMU, number 3. Boise State, number 4. This guy's he's on meth. Are you serious? You think Boise State's going to get a top 4 seed because they're conference champion of a really shitty conference? I don't think so. I don't think so. Who are you leaving out when you do that? When you put Boise State, you're leaving out a conference. You got Texas up there and Oregon. That's Big Ten, SEC, ACC. Are you leaving the Big 12 out? You're leaving the Big 12 out, boy. There's going to be some Big 12 people going to be pissed off. Big 12 will automatically get a bid or no? If you're a conference. I guess you get an automatic bid. It has to be the highest ranked 4 conference champions. That's right. I forgot about that. Anyway, he goes on to say Penn State 8, Notre Dame 9, Alabama 10, Ole Miss 11, Georgia 12. Bill Connolly says Oregon, Texas, SMU, Colorado, Indiana, Ohio State. Man, I don't know, man. Some of these people, I don't know if they know what you're talking about. They're supposed to be employed by ESPN, right? See what it says up here. Nah. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? It says the NFL does give home playoff games just for winning division. Yeah, and I don't like it at all. It shouldn't be like that in the NFL or college football. It should be about the best of the best gets the best seeds at the table. Just my opinion. Thunder OU Centers, I would love for the NCAA to do away with conference championships. Then nobody would pass OU's 50 conference championships. Well, they'd still get conference champions, man. You just be the regular season champion like Oklahoma did. You know, Oklahoma won a bunch of regular season championships back in the day when there was no conference championship game. So People could still absolutely pass you. I doubt they will. Oklahoma run up a bunch of conference championships with the Big Six back in the 1940s, later turned into the Big Eight, then later on turned into the Big 12, and now it's the big conglomerate of shit because they got like 78 teams, them in the Big 10. They can't change their freaking names. Big 10 and Big 12. But we both got 20 teams. 18 actually and 16. I know. I'm exaggerating. But just say, change the damn name. The Big 10, I can understand maybe why they don't want to change the name they had at first. Big 12, you need to change your freaking name, man. Change your name, man. It's stupid. Yeah, it just looks stupid, man. I don't know what else to tell you. So what do y'all think? Who's your top four for tomorrow? You got to remember, it's got to be conference champions. It can't be the best four, which it should be, but it should be the top four conference champions. The Big 12 may end up screwing themselves out of the playoff altogether. Like that guy said, if Boise State's ranked higher than BYU or Colorado, guess who don't get a go? Gonna get a bye. The Big 12 don't get a bye. Kansas has become a real thorn for everybody. Kansas done got on a win streak. I think they were like 2-6. Now they're 4-6. They won 2 games back to back against ranked teams. They screwed Iowa State. Now they screwed BYU. And now guess who they play this week? Colorado. That's right. Con time Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes are making it through this watered down version of the Big 12. He's got his little con time Deion Sanders glasses on. And he's looking around and he's saying, man, I can bullshit again because I'm in a weak-ass Big 12 conference this year. Now, last year, the Big 12 was a pretty good conference. This year, not very good. Very easy road for Colorado. Although Kansas, like I said, is coming around. Do not be surprised if a 4-6 Kansas team, which is probably the best 4-6 team out there, don't be surprised if Kansas beats Colorado. Big 12 people ain't going to want that to happen. They want a Colorado-BYU matchup, hopefully keeping them ahead of Boise State. Because like that guy said, if they drop below Boise State in the rankings, Big 12 may not get any teams in. Because they'll already met their G5 quota by having Boise State as a conference champion and their G5 quota. So at that point, the Big 12 conference champion becomes an at-large team if they're going to get a bid. And if they don't want to give them a bid, then they don't have to, even though they are conference champions. That's some crazy stuff there. And I think they probably will, just to keep people from getting pissed off. But if I was them, if the Big 12 can't put a team in the top 12 higher than Boise State, the Big 12 should be left out altogether. Because I can tell you this, South Carolina, who's a team on the rise, been looking really good. Almost beat Alabama, did beat Oklahoma, should have beat LSU too, by the way. They got robbed in that game. And now they've been went on a little winning streak here. Beat Vanderbilt and Missouri. They're looking really good. Looking really good, South Carolina is. To me, a South Carolina team with 3 losses would probably deserve to be in over a BYU or Colorado, in my opinion. $19.99 says the best is seeing actual people advocating for Travis Hunter to win the Heisman Trophy. I got to say, you cannot be a real person. I don't believe you're real. I agree. Travis Hunter should not be the winner of the Heisman Trophy. It's going to make a lot of people mad and piss a lot of people off. I don't care. I know he's playing 2 ways. He's being overused. But sooner or later, like last year, he might end up getting injured here pretty soon. I hope he don't. But Travis Hunter, just to me, just because he plays 2 ways and makes a couple of touchdowns here and there and got a few receiving yards, doesn't make him a Heisman Trophy winner. That's all I'm saying. Right now, I'd give it to that guy from Boise State, Ashton Jeanty, is who I'd give it to. If I had a vote, I'd vote for Ashton Jeanty. Killer Breeze says the conference championship game is now a detriment to the teams that make it. That's very true. Very true. Tomorrow, for next week's poll, Rye Guy says it's going to be Oregon, Texas, Miami, and BYU. Seem like a pick for the top 4. Yeah, that seems about right now, but don't be surprised if BYU loses another game. They should have lost that Utah game probably. But it would not surprise me if BYU's losing another game. I don't know BYU's schedule. I don't have it in front of me right now, but we can look at it if y'all want to. Because if BYU doesn't win out, then oh snap, they got to go to Arizona State. And Arizona State, by the way, is quietly 8-2. And then they play Houston to end the year. By the way, Houston has actually caught a little fire too. They've actually won a few games. So BYU could lose to Arizona State. Arizona State's 8-2. There's another team nobody's really talking about. What about Arizona State for the playoffs? What they got to do is beat whoever's in the championship game. They beat Colorado or BYU or whomever's in there. Arizona State would probably be have a lot better opportunity to pass Boise State in poll, in my opinion. Yeah, I know you're not going to say that's the final ranking. That's for week 12. These guys were predicting for week 12 only. I don't even know why they start these things. They'll just wait until the end of the year. And that's it. Don't be doing this shit. They just do it for a money grab. That's all they do. Rye Guy's not really smoking anything you got to rank about. The top 4 go to conference champions only, regardless of rank, is what he's saying, 1989M. It might be sacrilege, but I don't really think Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback, says Rye Guy 1218. For Oregon fans, that probably is sacrilegious. For Oklahoma fans, they probably appreciate you saying that because now they're feeling a little bit of a sting from that. Now, I'm not saying Dylan Gabriel, if he'd stayed at Oklahoma, they would have won 10 or 11 games. I'm just saying if Dylan Gabriel had stayed, there would have been certain situations that wouldn't have happened, and Oklahoma may have won 2 or 3 more games. I absolutely think that Dylan Gabriel could have given Oklahoma 8 or 9 wins. Just my opinion. Texas ain't winning no games in Atlanta, Georgia, but it ain't happening, says 1989M. Like I says that Dylan throws way too many red zone interceptions. Also, he does have a ton of help around him. Yeah, got a pretty good entourage there in Eugene. This may be the year, right, guy? This may finally be the year that Oregon breaks through. And if it is, we can go back and point to this year in history of college football. That was when Oregon's dynasty began. The Duck Dynasty. Woohoo! Play on words. Ain't that great? But anyway, yeah. So Oregon, like I said before, reminds me of Miami in the 1980s. They'd never won a national championship. They even talked about shutting their football program down, I think, in 1978. Howard Schnellenberger comes in, wins a national title, turns over the reins to Jimmy Johnson, who wins the national title as well, or maybe 2. And then Dennis Erickson comes in, and he wins the national title. Fast forward on to Butch Davis built a great program at Miami. In the year he was supposed to win a national championship, he left for I think it was the NFL or I've been the USFL or something, I can't remember. But anyway, he left for a pro coaching job, Butch Davis did, and give that team to Larry Coker, who won a national championship with him. But that one national championship, Miami had not won a national championship in the previous 70 or 80 years of college football. And that one national championship ended up sort of opening the floodgates for Miami because it's a great place for a lot of young players to go play because it's Miami. And they ended up winning 5 national titles after that. So if Oregon wins one finally, I think it may open up the floodgates for Oregon to win a few more. What do y'all think? I think Oregon could finally break through and get at the national championship table in college football. What do y'all think? I've been saying in chat rooms that Oregon and Ohio State are destined to face each other 3 times this season. I do think all 3 games will be great. I don't know about that. Now I can see them facing each other twice. By the way, so y'all know, stank is not spelled State. It's spelled Stank. Ohio Stank. So I don't like to correct people's spelling. I don't like to be a grammar Nazi, but it's Ohio Stank. It's Ohio Stank. Say it. Say it with me. Ohio Stank. Now let's look at the coaches on the hot seat before I let y'all get up out of here. Y'all ready for this? It's about the same. They do one each week. There's just a few on here that I want to share with y'all that see what y'all think about their ranking as coaches on the hot seat. Here it is. Number 1 is Don Brown of Massachusetts. Nobody cares. Going on down here. Dave Aranda is still on that list. Sam Pittman is still in the top 6. Ryan Walters and Hugh Freeze. Ryan Walters definitely needs to be fired at Purdue. Lincoln Riley holds at number 11. He still hasn't made it in the top 10 yet. I think he should have moved up on the list a little bit. And then there's y'all's boy, Brent Venables, down there at number 18. He's still in the top 20 as coaches on the hot seat. So not a lot has changed. Both Lincoln Riley and Brent Venables are still on the hot seat, as well as Sam Pittman and Dave Aranda. Those are the biggest names that I really care about, that anybody cares about. The rest of them, not so much. So what do y'all think about that? So let me ask you this. If USC fires Lincoln Riley, who do you think USC goes after? I know what people are going to say. I can already hear it. Just because it's a big city and there's glam and glitz. Time Deion Sanders is going to be a Trojan. He's going to be a Trojan. If they fire Lincoln Riley, they're going to hire Time. Y'all think they'll hire Time? Mm-hmm. The old fake Indians down there on the reservation in Tallahassee, with all the squaws crying and the teepees burning, might decide that they want to hire their alumnus, Time Deion Sanders. People are like, we ain't going to stop calling him Time. Never. Did I say never? Never. All right. Right guy 1218 says, if we still had Bo, we would have bulldozed everyone like the 2019 LSU Tigers. Well, you can't stay forever, man. If we still had Tua Tagovailoa, or if we still had Matt Jones, we'd still be winning national championships too. See, what I tell you, Time Deion Sanders. Woo! And it'll be hilarious because Time won't have his kids or Travis Hunter. That's right. Right. He won't have all that shit. He'll really have to coach then, won't he? He'll really have to start recruiting. All he does is go to the transfer portal. Go look at his high school rankings. Go look at his rankings as far as high school recruiting. Last time me and Killer Breeze looked at it, he was in the low. He was in the mid to high 70s. Might have been in the early 80s. By the way, I got my 1980s shirt on. You want to see it real quick? See it? It's 1980s, boy, vintage. Let's say vintage 1980s. I know everybody's got their own decade that they're biased towards, but man, I gotta say, 1980s were great. I'm just saying, some of their music's still being played today. Sometimes when I do Uber on the side, these college students, man, that's all they talk about. It's Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Bon Jovi, all those metal hair bands. And even those that weren't metal hair bands back in the day, you had Michael Jackson, you had We Are the World thing, and man, there's just so many. Huey Lewis and the News. Who else? Tom Petty. Tom Petty's the man. Man, just great music in the 1980s as far as rock and roll goes. Now, the country, I wasn't such a big fan of because I don't really like slow, tear-jerking country. I like a little more upbeat. But great decade. Andrew Fincell is in the house, or Finch L. Are you going to the Alabama and OU game? Well, I got offered some tickets from Steve Pareto and his wife, Darlene Pareto. They got 2 tickets for me if I want to go. It's just that I don't know if there's any hotels available at this point. And the ones that are available, they're price gouging. I'd probably have to stay somewhere outside Norman, maybe Moore, Oklahoma. But I do have tickets if I want to go, Andrew. It's just a long drive. And financially speaking, I just don't know if it's feasible for me right now. I would love to go, but I just don't know the finances of where they need to be. And I don't want to spend $200 or $300 a night for a hotel in Oklahoma. So I don't know, Andrew. You got some advice for me on that? Con Time doesn't even do home visits on recruiting, says Sigma. Exactly. We've talked about this before, ad nauseum, me and Jonathan Lewis, when he used to, come on here before y'all made him tap out. Just playing. I'm just playing. Don't get mad at me. Con Time doesn't even do home visits. That's correct. That's one thing that's really gaudy to me. How can you think that you don't have to do home visits? That's just what I'm talking about, man. He's all about himself. He thinks everybody should come to him. Even the great Nick Saban and Barry Switzer and Bud Wilkinson and Bear Bryant and Joe Paterno and Bobby Bowden. All those coaches did home visits, Dion. You ain't no more special than they are, jackass. And you got people coming and actually saying, Dion's going to be one of the greatest coaches of all time. Really? He can't even win the Celebration Bowl. When he was at Jackson State, yeah, they won 9 or 10 games a year, 11 games sometimes. But every time they go to the Celebration Bowl to play the other best HBCU team, they would lose. And one of those years they played South Carolina State, who was 7-5 in the Celebration Bowl, and they couldn't beat them. So he can't win a real big game. When he plays a real big team with a real defense, they ain't nothing, man. Look at what happened in Nebraska. And Nebraska's 5-5 now. And Nebraska dominated them, man. I don't know what's happened to Nebraska, by the way. They just didn't fell off, man. They had a real promising start. I thought Nebraska was back. Now they're fighting to be bowl eligible. I really like to see Nebraska get back in the bowl, man. Nebraska being good is good for college football, by the way. But Colorado, one good team, decent team they played from a decent conference. They got beat by 18 points. It should have been worse than that. Who's the other loss? Kansas State? Kansas State done lost 3 or 4 games. Just saying. If they get in the playoffs, they're going to get embarrassed. That's my opinion. Thank God I'm an OKC Thunder fan. My college football and pro football seasons are screwed up. Yeah, if you like the NBA, man, that's your bailout there. I take it the Thunder must be doing pretty good this year because I keep hearing people say that from Oklahoma, that their 2 teams are doing bad, but at least the Thunder's doing well. So congratulations on that. I'm not a real big NBA fan. I used to love the NBA. I was a big Michael Jordan fan back in the day. But once we got into the early 2000s, I watched it a little bit with Tim Duncan and them and whatnot. I used to like watching Tim Duncan play. But as we progressed into the LeBron era, I lost interest, man. I'll be honest with you. All right. Y'all got any other questions for me? Is there any suggestions you want to make for the show? Is there any suggestions you want to make as a topic? Is maybe a podcast? Does anybody want to be on the show live right now? Y'all want to come in and talk about anything in particular that I haven't touched on? Or if you want to expound on something, maybe I forgot something about the Jake Paul stuff or Lincoln Riley stuff or Oklahoma's brand is dead stuff. Y'all got anything? Oregon Duck stuff? I mean, they're the number one team, and nobody really shows them any respect, in my opinion. Y'all got anything? Drop it in the comment section down here. Want to get it pushed to the top so I can readily see it? Just hit that little money dollar sign down there and write your comment out, then hit send. All my teams suck right now. You have an NBA team? See, I don't have an NBA team, so they don't suck for me. All right. Unless y'all got something else y'all want me to touch on, I'm fixing to get up out of here. I might do another live stream tomorrow. I might do a podcast tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I took about a week off. Like I said, I've been having some issues with my foot. I'm diabetic, and sometimes I eat stuff I shouldn't. And I think it gave me some gout down there in my ankle. That or some diabetic issues. I don't know. I didn't go to the hospital for it. I just took some leave. It was bad, man. I could hardly walk for a couple of days. But it's subsided now. I was going to have to go to the hospital, but I didn't. And right now, my situation right now is, YouTube and Google, and Uber, and all this other good stuff I do. There's no, I don't have any health insurance, so just have to tough it out. But I did, and now the ankle's better. Now I can get back to it. So if y'all got any ideas for a topic or a podcast or a live stream, just drop it in the comment section. This live stream will go to podcast after I get off here. And you can leave some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about future topics, maybe. All right. KMCA to all the other teams, class.